So it's basically baseball tradition that as soon as the clock strikes 0 in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl, everyone frantically rushes to their computer or phone and starts tweeting, "Baseball's back," or "Baseball season is here." And unfortunately, in the year 2022, we can't do that because of Robert Manfred, Major League Baseball, and the Players Association not agreeing upon a new CBA for 2022 and beyond. Now, there was an update over the weekend. Major League Baseball and the Players Association, they came together for their recent proposal from MLB, and quote unquote, the players were left unimpressed. So we're going to go ahead and recap the 4 core economic issues that were presented by Major League Baseball and why the players scoffed at it and said, hey, we're still not close to a deal. So at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I do unfortunately have to say that spring training is most likely going to get delayed. But let me go ahead and recap the latest proposal because I don't want to miss anything. I'm going to throw on my glasses so I do not misread anything. At the top, you can clearly see that Robert Manfred, he's still trying to save face from a perspective of the fans looking at the game of baseball, trying not to get angry. He's saying that a disastrous outcome for the industry would happen if regular season games were to be missed, and that they're committed to making an agreement in an effort to avoid that. Now, I don't know if I necessarily need glasses to see that that is BS, because Robert Manfred, at every single opportunity, has taken his time and not presented an offer that is in good faith negotiations, in my opinion, as well as that is the opinion of most of the players in the PA. So the first of the 4 core economic issues being minimum salary. Major League Baseball, they gave a proposal to the PA that they want to increase the minimum salary to $630,000 in 2022. That would be an increase of almost $60,000 from 2021 to 2022. Now, the biggest difference in this one between the second option of minimum salary is that, yes, minimum would be $630, but the teams, the minimum salary would not be capped, so teams could give raises at their own discretion. So let's say that Aaron Judge pops off like he did in 2017. He'd be making $630, but based off performance, the Yankees, they could give him a raise. So that is option number 1. For the minimum salary. I actually don't mind that. That sounds pretty good. $630 is a good amount of money for a player making his debut, and you can increase that with raises. I'm cool with that. The league's other proposal features a tiered salary, so $615 for 0 Major League service time, $6.5 for 1 year, and $725 for 2+ years of Major League service, the latter of which is an increase of $15,000 from the prior proposal. Probably not going to get down with this one. I could see the players siding with a minimum salary of $630, and then you factor in raises. So the second one, it would not factor in pre-arbitration bonus pool. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and break down what that is real quick. So when a player goes to arbitration, the biggest example that we've been giving over the last few weeks, Chris Bryant, he met up with the Cubs. The Cubs said, hey, you don't deserve what you're presenting. They went to arbitration and Chris Bryant lost. So what they're trying to do is give money to players before arbitration even happens. And the players, as well as the owners, they both say that this is a great idea, but the amount of money that they're offering is so different. I audibly laughed when I read this. Okay, so again, this is for players that have 0 to 3 years of Major League service time, and it's based on WAR. So let's go back to 2017 Aaron Judge. If he finishes in the top, I think it's 30 or 100, something like that in WAR, he is going to get a percentage of the pre-arbitration bonus pool, which is awesome. But again, the funny part is Major League Baseball, they increased their whopping $10 million offer by $5 million. So they want a $15 million arbitration pool or pre-arbitration bonus pool, which is the same increase as MLB PAs move from 105 million to 100. So it's as petty as that. The Players Association, they lowered their offer by 5 million from 105 to 100, and the owners, they got petty and said, hey, you only want to decrease yours by 5, we're only going to increase ours by 5, which again made me audibly laugh because that's how petty it's getting. And $15 million to me, again, it's a good amount of money, but when you're spreading it across all of Major League Baseball, it's got to be at least 50 million. I'm hoping that that is the sweet spot. 50 to 75, that is going to be, if I was Robert Manfred, that's what I would present, because I feel like the players, they could get down with that. So again, to recap real quick, the minimum salary that I would favor is $630 with an opportunity to have raises, and the pre-arbitration bonus pool, I would settle anywhere from $50 to $75 million, or maybe even at the lowest end, 35 to 40. All right, let's move on over to the third core economic issue that MLB presented, the CBT, the competitive balance tax that is the luxury tax that you guys have become familiar with over the last few seasons. So MLB offered to increase the base tax and surcharge thresholds from its prior proposal from $2 million in each 2024, so $216, $218, and $22 million. Additionally, the league made an additional concession to the union by withdrawing its proposal to require clubs over the base tax threshold to forfeit draft picks. So essentially what they're saying is that, hey, if you go over the luxury tax threshold, you are not going to be forfeiting draft picks. So this is encouraging teams to spend money. But I will throw up a tweet from Alex Wood. He knows this system a whole lot better than I do. So he's basically saying that Major League Baseball is not doing this the right way. If it's a tiered system, it's still going to be a method that is punishing teams for spending money. He's basically saying that there should not be a penalty for going over the threshold. Let teams spend money. The only problem is every other professional sport has a salary cap, but Major League Baseball works under a luxury tax threshold, which tries to act as a salary cap. So this one is always a little bit confusing. This is a little bit too wordy, so we're just going to go ahead and move on to the next one. And that is the final one, service time. Major League Baseball added draft pick incentives to further de-incentivize clubs from managing the service time for top prospects. Teams will now potentially have the chance to earn 2 draft picks per player if the player reaches certain benchmarks in awards voting. Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, we know that. Under its proposal made in late January, couple months ago or a month ago, MLB offered to adjust the eligibility requirement to all players with less than 60 days of service time rather than players with no service time or September call-ups, which would remove any incentive for a team not to use a prospect as an injury replacement during the season. In other words, players who receive less than 60 days of service in one season would still be eligible the next. You guys can kind of take that for what you want. I really don't think that service time is going to get fixed based off what the owners want. The players, they're going to have to come up with resolutions on their own because, again, they are the players. They have their best interest at heart. The owners are trying to hold on and prospect hold as much service time as possible and manipulate it like what happened with Chris Bryant and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Put them in the minors up to a certain point in the regular season, bring them up once they acquire one more additional free year before they can actually reach arbitration as well as free agency. And anything that can help service time, I'm down with. And if that means giving 2 draft picks to teams that call up their top prospects, and let's say that prospect actually shows up and does well, they get 2 free draft picks, I'm cool with that. I just don't know where those draft picks are going to come from. Would they steal from other clubs that decide to manipulate service time? Like, let's say the Blue Jays, if this proposal was actually a thing back in the day when Vlad Jr. was a rookie, let's say the Blue Jays said, hey, F the draft picks. If you're going to take ours, we would rather have an extra year of Vlad Jr. as opposed to taking a gamble in the draft and trying to get that right, because we know we got it right with Vlad. We're going to go ahead and just keep him. We're going to manipulate his service time as opposed to getting the 2 additional draft picks. So let me know what you think of the Saturday proposal. Some other issues that were addressed: increasing the Rule 4 signing bonus values and the international draft slots to add more than $23 million of additional spending on amateur players. Cool. NBA style draft lottery. A proposal that players who are drafted after submitting to a pre-draft physical must be offered at least 75% of the slot value associated with their selection and can't be failed by the club on a post-draft physical. Think of it as the Kumar Rocker rule. So if you don't know, Kumar Rocker was a top 10 draft pick or top 15. He failed a physical, I guess, from the Mets, even though he said that he was healthy. So that's trying to mitigate a resolution to that. Improvement to the health benefits, a first ever limit on the times a player can be optioned to season 5. So there you go. I don't really know what else to say. The 4 economic issues they talked about: you have minimum salary, pre-arbitration bonus pool, the CBT, the luxury tax essentially, and then service time. They're trying to mitigate it by allowing teams to get draft picks based off how good their prospects did when they actually got called up. And shout out to Mark Feinstein, who kind of broke this all down for us. So that is the latest update. Again, usually when the Super Bowl is over, everyone is in complete elation because baseball season is directly in front of our faces. Just devour hot dogs, drink beer, water, whatever you're cool with, and just have a great time. Enjoy family time outside. We don't know if the actual regular season is going to get delayed, but that does it for today's video. And like the title says, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Baseball is a complete disaster right now. So let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.